Oh no. Definitely. Is it? Oh, is it? Nice. It's not one for it. Oh, it's one. Actually, it's one. Hey guys, good morning. Today we'll be talking about the first character introduced in season 4, Hilde. Hilde? Any of those. As you can see, she's greeting us quite explicitly, and it seems like the super creative teams kind of found how they want to design their characters or how they want to cater the aesthetics typically to the characters for this season. And I can say it's quite interesting. So currently, Hilde is accompanied by Atsui, Lucas, as well as Marble. Personally, I don't see any like combinations or characters that these two characters go well with her. But we just do know that these two characters are included in her banner as well, and are also the featured 4 stars. As for her partner, Eunie, is accompanied by Carrot and Burger Girl, Rachel. Hey. Now let's go towards Hilde. Hilde is also introduced alongside with the introduction of the wardrobe functionality of CCN. So moving forward, we'd be seeing more skins accompanied for the characters. I'm not sure how frequent they are, but at the moment they only include this outfit over here and the sticker. Some things to do take note is that you won't be seeing these skins in these conditions. You can see here in the bottom hand side, excursion outfits do not apply in story, combat environments, or psychotherapy and certain other environments. So right now, at the moment, it is quite limited to where we can see them. But this is what we see, and I personally like it. Not this typically style-wise, but what I do like is the fact that we're trying to approach some other monetizations for the game, and if it gains enough traction, we could see some skins being overlaid towards combat animations too. So I'm banking on the fact that eventually, even with my little investment, we'll eventually hit the time where this could come true. Secondly, Tifera is also included. You can purchase her through 1,200 of your mythic crystals. Hello. And it has the same conditions as well. So that's one of the things that we could look forward to in the future. As for Hilde herself, she's an insane character. Interestingly enough, we're introduced that the upcoming season would make almost all of the characters be instinct. I believe, if that's how I understood it correctly. This is her original base form, and this is her skin form. So just choose whatever you want. I want to utilize the money I spent to seeing her in this skin. As for her cards, so wait, I forgot. Hilde is a ranger, so she provides draw support as well as extra attacks. So she'll be doing multiple things through her draw mechanics. She has one of her cards has attunement, and I'd explain who pairs her the most efficiently with. But so far, in like first glance and playing her around, she's been really fun to play. She's really strong in her own right, despite being more catered towards the draw element of the game. But otherwise, let's look through her cards. First and foremost, multi-shot. This is her basic attack. Uniquely, I think she's one of the first characters with a basic attack that attacks all enemies. This is quite unique, I think. However, because of it being an all damage to all enemies, her base damage percentage is quite low. So she has two of these. She has a basic shield card over here. Same old, same old. Now, here, here's one of her signature cards. Kudos to the team. They changed it from the unique cards going towards signature cards. This makes it more distinctive towards as a player. Okay, first, quick reload. One cost skill has the tag lead. So whenever there's a chance for it to be 0 cost. So creates 3 homing arrows. Homing arrows are accessible cards. This isn't a bullet. So bullets need to have the caveat of being a bullet. But for this case, 144% extra attack to the enemy with the lowest HP. So it's really good. Draw 1 and on attunement, activate this card. So the thing is, we need to either have a means to activate these cards through like a certain skills or certain cards, or we need to draw this to make full use of the effects of homing arrow. So this is why Ranger is clearly used as her class is just because of first, she's a bow user, so that's quite obvious, like association between Ranger and bows, and that her mechanic certain caters around drawing. So let's look through the epiphanies. So E1, lead, create 4 homing arrow in draw pile, then draw 1 of those cards. So not only do we get the fact that we get an additional arrow, but we're also guaranteed to draw a single arrow. So this makes us able to draw more, and this is a really good, among all of these, I personally think when I was playing it, this is one of our best epiphanies. And I think how most people will build their Number 2. Grade 3, homing arrow, fracture. So fracture is a new status ailment, I believe. So extra attack to all enemies, 1 fracture with 1 draw. So it gains this. So fracture at the end of the turn, 40% dot for each fracture. On each activation, decrease fracture stack by half. So at most we get 30. So 40% times what? 15? Let's bring out the calculator. Or 40% times 30, right? So 1,200%. Is my math right? Otherwise, it's such a good thing that we're starting to introduce more status ailments in the game. Agony received some flack in its changes, and we're only limited to that being our only option for DOTs or damage over times. So having the potential to get like other types of damage over times makes the game more flexible in that way, where we aren't just like funneled into a single like style of DPS. Next, I think this is good. There are certain builds that we can go for. I wouldn't say it's a number 1 option, but it's a really solid pick. Number 3, create 1 homing arrow grand. So we lose the additional 2 homing arrows, but we do get a pretty big hit. Homing arrow instead, 600% extra attack with the highest HP. So this is different from the one previously where it targets the lowest HP. And we deal more damage. I'm not sure how good this is. It seems very... You have to build around the fact that you can only have limited amounts of arrows. So you need multiple copies of quick reload for grand specifically. So do take note about this. So ideally, if we do go this, what you need to do is like duplicate quick reload like 4 times, enabled to allow like generations or creations of homing arrow grand to be done if you're planning to utilize this. I'm not sure how good this is personally. I don't think it's a bad option, but I think it's a it's a good solid choice in my opinion. Next, quick reload, because this becomes an upgrade card, gains a unique as all upgrade cards do. Create 2 homing arrows in draw pile when an enemy is defeated. Take note of this condition: when an enemy is defeated, right? It's very situational. However, because of it being like very situational, the times we can create homing arrows is so much more for the first time, I think, compared to like Quiver Reload, like the first FFNE. So some things that this could benefit from is for like certain elites that can like make more mobs, and we can benefit a lot from this. I don't know how good this is, personally speaking, but it isn't a bad choice to consider. Number 5. Still the same case. It's a 1 cost upgrade card. At the start of the turn, create 3 homing arrows in draw pile. Homing arrows cannot be a target of turn draw. So this makes it, because it is an upgrade card, we're limiting the card pool for Hilde more. We are able to what? I think this is like a pretty good option to choose from. And I'm not sure how I can explain the latter part, but this is still a really good card to consider. So if I were going to rate it, your first choice should always be the first one over here, and then 2, 4, and 5 are your really strong options to go for. Number 3 is a situational thing, depends on how you try to build Hilde. Next, Plasma Rain. So Plasma Rain is a 1 cost attack card, 72% damage. I believe it's 65? Might not be sure. And 2 ionization to all enemies. So there's a new debuff once again, plus 8 damage amount taken for each ionization. So 8 times 12, what's that? 96% additional damage amount taken from Hilde. I think this is such a really good thing. So, assuming this comes from Hilde, right? We get what? 12% times 12 is what? 144% additional damage. And that alone is such a good debuff. Although it's very targeted towards Hilde to get its maximum effects, it's still a really good card to essentially put in every deck. Since Hilde does a lot of extra attacks as well too, through her attunement and draw mechanics. So first Epiphany, it gains the lead, so we know what it is. 120%, 2 ionization, and on attunement, we deal additional ionization to a random enemy. 4 ionizations in a single card. I think it's a solid option. There is a specific card or epiphany I think that is so much better, but this is still a solid option to go for if you're planning to like stack a lot of ionizations against the enemy. I'm not sure if there's any computations regarding fracture alongside with ionization, so that let's make the others figure it out for us. But I do think this is an all right option to go for. Next one, Plasma Rain becomes a skill. Lead 3 ionizations to all enemies and draw 1. Solid option. I think personally it isn't enough of a, like, you can compare this to the base form of Plasma Rain, right? It's not a bad epiphany to go for, but I wouldn't say it's something that it would be my personal first pick, right? It's still a good thing. We're applying an additional +1 ionization compared to the base form, and we do have a draw. We're just losing the fact that it was originally an attack card, right? Number 3. Retains the attack card over here, 120% damage and 3 ionization to all enemies. How much different is this from the base form? Quite a lot. On defeat, 3 fracture to all enemies. Can only do it maximum of once. I'm not sure if this is per battle or per turn. It has... I don't think it's a bad... No. Among all of the choices, I think this is too situational. But I still don't think it's such a bad thing to consider to pick up if you're trying to go for a fracture build against enemies that you can defeat, right? Number 4 becomes a 3-cost card, gains ignition. So if this card is in hand, when a card is exhausted, so we're exhausting the arrows, right? Decrease by 1. So if we make sure that we're able to pull all of the cards, all of the arrows, and then use them, this could potentially become a 0-cost card. So this is okay, I guess. 216% piercing damage. So we go through shields and 3 ionization to all enemies. Once again, it's a conditional card. It's not too bad, but piercing, I'm not sure how good it is personally. Some piercing characters that we do know, like let's say Veronica as well, we don't really need too much. Maybe against like I forget his name, the one of the weekly bosses, or any of the shield stackers, right? It's not bad. It's not too bad. But this is the best option by far. So this is the 5th epiphany. 1/4% damage to all enemies. Draw 1 tap card or cards of this unit on streak. So whenever we use the same card of the last element, this becomes a 0-cost card. This is one of the best options for Hilde. It's a free card draw. It's essentially a 0-cost card. It has a free damage, but it does lead you to build towards a certain thing, which is spamming a lot of draws. So you have to consider, right? Do you value a ionization or do you value more of the card draw? So take a pick. I personally think that 1 and 5 are pretty good options. Even the base form itself is a really good option to go for. The rest would just depend on how you want to build Hilde. From this card alone, we can see how flexible Hilde is so far as a character. I think she's one of the more flexible characters so far in terms of like utility wise. She can be a card drawer. She does a lot of extra attacks. She can do DPS quite frequently and quite well in that manner. And she has a dot. Very interesting. Next, draw and release. 1-cost skill card, draw 2 attack cards of this unit plus 50% damage amount to those cards for 1 turn until used. So we're using this as a means of stacking your damage. I'm pretty sure this is a pretty good card, especially if you're trying to use the Grand Arrowhead. But that's just like it's one of the ways to utilize this card. Okay, first, draw 2 attack cards, same old simple, plus 80% from plus 50%. So I'm not sure how good this is, but it is definitely an upgrade from our original base form. So if you do value that more, pick this up. Number 2, draw 2 for the next 3 extra attacks of this unit, apply fracture to all enemies. I think this is a really good thing if you have the things to fulfill the condition. First, we need to guarantee a way to do extra attacks, which is through the use of the arrowheads. But I think this is pretty good. Some things to do, take note is that you'll have to play this card first before we proc the extra attacks of Hilde. Do take note of that. Number 3. It becomes a 0-cost skill. Move all cards in hand to draw pile, then draw for each move. So this is just a reshuffling and drawing card on. This makes us allow. This is a really good card in my opinion, since we're playing around the fact that Hilde wants to do attunement, right? So this is a really good card to consider. Some of the divine epiphanies as well can affect how good this card is. For example, we gain additional AP, and this becomes like a free +1 AP, right? Number 4. Draw 2 league cards, decrease cost of those cards by 1 for 1 turn. I don't think this is a good. Personally, I don't think it's a good. This is too conditional. We need to build around the fact that we need leads in the deck. I'm not a fan. Number 5. 2-cost skill. Increase damage amount of the next attack card of this unit by 30% for each card drawn through an ability, maximum 20%. So I think The issue with this card is it's 2 costs, right? And you'll only be able to use this once per skill use. So in like a typical scenario, 3 AP, you're using 2/3 of it already just to play Grand Arrow. So do take note of that. I still think it's a optional niche pick to go for. But if we're talking about it in like efficiency standpoint, this isn't too good. Options you should go for 1, 2, 3. Even base form is okay as well. Just take your pick. Okay, next one. Big Game Ranger. 1 cost upgrade card. On hit, 2-0 in. 2-0 in is a unique effect of Hilde. At the end of the turn, 35 extra attack to the enemy with the highest HP for each 0 in. So 60% times 35. Let's do the map, I guess. 60 times 35 is what? 2100% damage. That's a lot. I really like this upgrade card. It's very unique, I guess. No pun intended. So that's unique and lead. And as for the epiphanies. First one. From 2 becomes 3, quite basic. Second epiphany over here, draw 2. Draw 2. An initiation. And 0 cost. What's there to say? This is arguably the best upgrade you can go for Hilde. No question to ask. 3 draws, 0 cost, and initiation. What can't you ask for? No, I can't say anything else. It's just straightforward, the best choice you can go for. Third one though is quite versatile as well. 1 cost upgrade card. When attunement is on hit, 2-0 in. Yep. When attunement effect is activated, so whenever we draw those arrows, we apply 2 more 0 in. This is a really good option to go for as well. Alright, next. When a harmful effect is applied through an ability, it's 5-0 in. There have been some sightings wherein this effect doesn't proc whenever a different combatant applies the vulnerable, for example, or any debuffs. So this is a pretty bad card to go for until they fix it. I'm not sure how good this is. If they do fix it, I think it's a good option to consider, like characters that apply a lot of debuffs. But because it's conditional, I'm not sure if it's a good choice to go for. Lastly, at the start of turn, apply 30 0 in. Unable to use attack cards of this unit. I think this is okay. But the issue here is that you're not able to use any of the attack cards. So let's say if you're planning to build like Hilde exclusively around playing like drawing, creating arrows, proccing those arrows through the draw attunement. This could be an optional thing to consider. But if we're going to talk like tiering, I would go for 2 and 3. The rest is up to you. Number 1's fine. But 2 and 3 are like significantly better. Lastly, her ultimate over here, Vortex Arrow. A unique card, of course, draw 3. Wow. At 1 cost skill, by the way. 1 cost AP. 1/4% damage to all enemies, plus 60% damage for each attack drawn through an ability this turn. So 60% times 8, 480 plus 144 is what? 620-ish% damage from a 1 cost skill. This is really good. I think this is one of the, among all of the characters in the game, this is one of the better like ultimate cards so far. Or not ultimate, unique cards or whatever you call this. This is such a good card, is all I'm trying to say. As for her ego skill, Matrix Overlay, which is a 4 cost ego skill, well, 4 EP, plus 15% weakness damage amount taken to all enemies. So this is a straight up elemental debuff applied to the enemy. Draw 3 of this unit. Wow, free 3 draws from 4 EP. Apply weakness attack to those cards. I don't know what to say. This is such a good ego skill. So what can we gather here, right? Almost all of our cards revolves around drawing, or has a potential to apply divas, or does extra attack. So she pretty much has a lot of things going on for her. Nothing else to say. Such a good character so far. Now Eunie. Eunie is her exclusive partner. This is her ego skill over here. Battlefield Saturation Doctrine. This has the passive effect of granting 10% crit chance to the assigned combatant. Hilde's stats alone, she has a lot of crit chance. That's all I'm gonna say. 16% attack increase to the assigned combatant when an instinct card, which is what Hilde is created in the draw pile by the assigned combatant. Increase damage amount of extra attacks of that card by 40% until used. So it's a free damage boost for extra attacks, specifically for those arrowheads. If that card is unusable, which is the arrowhead, gain 10% crit chance. Wow. Just wow. So 80%, this is her eco skill over here. Lay down suppressive fire. She's using a minigun. 80% damage 2 times 3 to all enemies, 1, leaving the rest to you. So we apply 1 ammo transfer to the assigned combatant. Increase the damage amount of the assigned combatant's next extra attack by 40%. So this is just straight up buff towards this extra attack damage through her arrows. So what other partners we can go for? I've seen people, well, obviously Rosar is a really good option here. Stat stick with extra attack, as well as have a skill cast skill and upgrade card use, has a chance to gain like morale. This is pretty good, as well as draw 1 here over here. Other options we can go for as well. I've seen people use Marin. Where's the journal? Marin's a good option. To buffs extra attack over here, increase damage, skill card usage as well for additional things for extra attacks. What makes it better, I guess, is this one. Her ego skill is so much better than Eunie's, but I value crit chance more, so I'm gonna use Eunie's. Okay, save data. As I've said before, one of the great things about Hilde is how flexible her builds are. You can either go for like a lot of creation of homing arrows and then playing around the fact that you're going to do a lot of attunements. So in my example deck over here, we have 4 copies of crate arrows over here. This is initially like a 1 cost card, right? And having the Divine Epiphanies to reduce his card makes us not have to like rely on the lead tag. So this is a really good option. Next one is here, Plasma Rain. I believe this is the first Epiphany, because I'm trying to build around like playing arrows and a lot of card draw. This is a valuable thing to go for. We're applying 4 ionizations. Next is Big Game Hunter. This guarantees like 2 draw and more 0 in. So we're buffing up the extra attacks. Vortex Arrow is Vortex Arrow, of course. And then lastly, with the newest cards in Desire. No, I forgot the name. Desire cards, or for this season's cards. I chose this one. So this is level 3. So from level 1, this initially draw 1. Level 3 makes this into draw 3 for 1 cost card. And as we keep applying Inquiry over here, these are the types of effects that we're applying. We're applying Weaken and Vulnerable on draw. Check. Harmful effect is applied to the enemy. Draw 1. Check. We have a lot of draw. And 7+. Gain 1 Inquiry Desire for each sack, which we can see here in the left side. And does a lot of things. 0 cost, 600% damage, and more draw. So I think this is one of the best cards we can go for, like a draw build for Hilde. Another option that we can go for, right, is we're stacking Fracture. I'm not sure how good it is, but it sounds like fun. But for my case, I think this is the best ones we can go for. As for gear, of course, Senectus weapons are really good on her. The gun, the sword, take your pick. Other good options that we can go for as well would be like the dagger that tricks shadows, which grants crit damage. Second method, which is extra attack. The bug horn, which is 20% crit damage as well. Singing sword, so on and so forth. As for the armors, good ones would be like typically the crit chance crown. I think it's called fairy crown or something like that. The rocket adorned cape, pretty good. It's the one with draw. And then the fragment of empty void, which is a discard 3, draw 3. As for her, as for this one, the accessory, anything that increases attack is pretty good. Other good options would be this Amorphous Cube or Dimensional Cube, which is the one that on this card plus 15% damage amount. So I think it's up to 45% for each discard. Another option would be like a Sphere of Randomness. This is the Senectus one where we can plus 1 AP and draw? Something like along that lines. So I think this is a pretty good deck that you can go for. I'll be linking the save data in the description below if you want to copy it. Pretty good feature, by the way, having that easy access to certain deck builds. Potentials. Classically speaking, upgrade your big nodes over here. Plus 20% to your damage multi-shot. This is your basic attack. Plus 5 damage amount to Hilde's multi-shot, which is your basic attack. If Hilde's extra attack is 6% or higher, additional 5% to the modifier. Lastly, the next big node over here. 7% insect attribute. If Hilde's extra damage is 6% or higher, additional 8% to the modifier. So this is really good. This is what? 15% instinct attribute damage increase. Next. What we want to go for? Crit chance, crit damage, and signature card upgrade. Same old. Unlock all of your big nodes over here. Unlock these 3. Max them out as much as you can. As for memory fragments, Season 4 introduces new memory fragment. One of them being the Battlefield Evolution. On Forset, on extra attack, or when an attack card is created in draw pile, or on draw through an attack card, gain Evolving Battlefield, which grants us 30% crit damage up to on its maximum and 3 attack. And when 3 stacks are reached, add an additional 5%. So 35% crit damage. Wow. Straight up wow. Next one would be Executioner's crit damage. A lot of things in Hilde's over crit makes critical hits quite easy to land. So to exacerbate that fact, we're trying to buff up a lot of crit damage. Next, what subsets we should go for? Extra attack, crit chance, crit damage, attack percent. In that order specifically. Extra attack is our main damage source. Crit chance and crit chance is a very important stat. Crit damage is already an important stat. I treat them as equally the same. Attack percent is attack percent. So how you want to build Hilde specifically is that you want to, of course, try to hit like 3 out of 4 of those stats. And we're good. Quite simple. As for the necklace that we should go for, crit chance or crit damage, what is the option we should go for? Just choose the one with the best like substats. Instinct or attack percent is the best main stat for her neck. For her ring or this one over here. Desire. This is a really good one, by the way. Next one. Attack percent, lastly, for imagination slot. Okay, now to our dupes. So, I'll just put a caveat on this, right? Hilde is not a limited unit. However, Hilde has one of the most useful ego upgrades in all of the 6 slots. First one over here. On Vortex Arrow, this is our ult over here. From 3, wait, draw 2 or is it draw 3? From draw, I forget. From draw 3 becomes draw 4. Plus 60% damage amount. And increases to 90%. Wow. Just straight up wow, right? This is straight up damage amount just from the first duplicate. This is amazing, in my opinion. Do I think you need it? Not necessarily, but is it good? Yes, it is. Next one. At the start of the battle, 10% to kill this crit chance. At the start of the turn, or when an enemy is defeated, gains double tap here. When homing arrow is activated, 10% extra damage. Up to 5 stacks. 10% crit, more mobbing damage. This is really good. This is really good. No words can explain how good all of these have been so far. Number 3. Change weakness, damage amount taken from 15% to 25%. Plus 25% damage increase is really good. The only issue here is that it's only applied once per turn. And you can only use this once per battle since it's a ego skill, right? I think this is one of the weaker dupes that you can have for Hilde. Number 4. For each hit an ally performs, so extra attacks, right? Increases. No, not necessarily extra attacks. Any attack cards activated by a teammate. Increases damage amount of Hilde's extra attack by 5%, so this becomes up to 40%. Really good. Standard upgrades over here. And lastly, the big one. When Find the Gap reaches 8, plus 15% additional critical chance to insync attributed allies. This is straight up crit chance buff to any insync. So I don't know what to say. It's really good. This is really good. Increase the maximum stack of 0 in to 100%. The start of a turn, gain 15 0 in. For each 0 in, plus 1% critical damage. I don't know what to say. This is very oppressive. No notes. One of the best dupes we can get for a character that's not limited, right? So, now that we've gone through all of Hilde's things, do I say she's a great character? Undoubtedly so. She's really good in her own right. They designed her to really cater to the audience's preferences. And she's a solid character. Very flexible, very versatile, very strong. So that's it for the video, guys. Appreciate you all. Catch you later.